Welcome to part 4 of a set of keys. Part 4 is a little bit different in that it shows the timetables and calendars that are currently being used. Now, this is the current daily timetable, which I mostly perform every day. With one or two variations, you may see the timing of concentration has a couple of variants throughout the day. And I do not always stick to this exactly, in that the certain meditations are performed at different points. There is for example, instead of meditation on the foundation stone, sometimes I continue the word in the morning for certain periods of the year, and the Michael imagination may be replaced with a different imagination at the middle of the day. And the pure perception on plants may be replaced at a later time for pure perception on stars or on other items as and when required. And that basically, however, gives you my daily timetable as it now stands. It developed to this point. The evening meditation also varies. Heart of Christ is not a constant, for example, though the Rose Cross is. And then there is a multiple year program. I will not go into the detail of this. If you want to go through the various slides in detail, you can do. This is basically the preparation that we were doing every day for the period from 1974 to the September 1997, because we foresaw problems in 1998 and shortly thereafter. And these were basically the main exercises that we were performing. You may notice that all of these exercises are more or less given here in the course. The multi-year program then gave on to certain specific rites for certain specific periods, before moving on to the main program from the end of Michaelmas 1997, and that has now continued ever since, because we have basically discovered that there is no point at which it is worth stopping the continuing flow of exercises and of inner working, because we really need this to keep going, not just for ourselves but for those around us who need to have our continuing support. And so that is why we continue. I would add as a note on the multi-year program from Michaelmas 1997, the only preparation for the period up to 97 was the previous 14 years ritual work. The actual rites nowadays are lighter, because the daily program is in fact much heavier than it was. And you need to sort of offset things. The original program started in 1974 in Milan around Easter time, on condition of saying that you want to take part. Then the first international meeting was in 1981 with a week-long retreat, and this has repeated almost every year since then. I was not able to take part in 1974, but I was able to take part with a second group out in Italy for a number of years, and after this it was discovered that for it to be effective, spiritual work had to be undertaken regularly, and in particular a preparation before the rite had to actually work. A preparation for the original Easter rituals were a 6-month period, and we were a bunch of spirit desperados, as it were, who were able to meet on retreat for a week with very intensive spiritual activity while we were there. And when I'm talking about very intensive, I'm talking about 30 minutes of concentration, followed by 30 minutes of meditation, followed by 30 minutes of more exercises, followed by walking in silence in the Tuscan hills, and then meeting for breakfast, and then continuing with similar lengthy and intensive exercises throughout the day, and then attempting to take the energy that was built up during the day in the form of light and bringing it on through the night into the next day, so that it was able to intensify day by day. And the feeling that one got at the time was that of making something like a spiritual bomb, which one had to gradually release into everyday life, in support of those human beings around us in everyday life, regardless of whether or not they took part or were collaborators or thought the same as us or whatever. After a few years, the initiative was taken to add a second ritual at Michaelmas, and then other rites were added over the next few years, and structuring additions for St. John's side and the Christmas period, which are trying not to be too heavy, bearing in mind the demands of the family at the time. It's obvious now to see the whole thing in a longer perspective as something that can be done at times of crisis as a kind of counterweight, and the importance of this task can be seen from the actual text of the address made by Rudolf Steiner when he gave the Michaelmas meditation. I personally feel this task has to do with what I am here to do. So the whole thing has been made public so that the initiative can continue once I am no longer here, because I'm not sure that I will ever be able to see this thing out, or that we shall not encounter some opposition which would make us stop our free initiative. That's why this is all being circulated and passed on. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to the last part, which I think is the bibliography. Thank you. Bye.